Thank you guys for your patience. I'm reaching out to Jenny to make sure she can get on okay. All right, she's working on getting in right now. I sent it to your office as well. So it's all right. A few more minutes, guys. I'm so sorry, and we'll get started. We'll definitely get through and make up for the time. Play some background music.
Michael Jackson. So just while we're waiting, a plug for anyone in the Woodlands Market Center. You should definitely be signing up for bowling. If you thought about not going, you're gonna want to go because we've got our costumes all planned out and we're planning to win. So just for the entertainment of seeing what we're doing would be fun enough. All right, I do know she is getting on. We had to resend the login info to her, so she's working on it, and we appreciate your patience.
Hello.
Jenny!
Hey, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I appreciate it. It's not that you're not busy or anything, right?
Oh my gosh, we did a big migration from Outlook to Google, and random appointments have just dropped off the end of the year. So I am so sorry, but here I am. How can I help?
I appreciate it, Jenny. So, I'll do a quick just introduction and then I have some list of questions and we'll see where it takes us. And then at the end of the webinar, we'll open it up for a few questions. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
Perfect. So I've had the pleasure of knowing you since honestly the first day I got into real estate and joining Keller Williams. I got to meet you, and that was back in 2010 in Orlando, Florida, where you're still at, where I'm no longer at. Um,
Yeah.
and you have definitely grown in size since then, and I'm excited to be able to hear from your perspective what that looked like and then from my perspective, I got to see it from the outside. So I would like to start with just telling us about your background. What did you do before real estate? Why did you get into real estate? And then what's your team look like right now?
Okay. Well, I was a teacher before I became a realtor, and loved it, did it well, but I kept adding on things when I was a teacher to fulfill the competitive side of me. I was, cheer coach and took 50 girls to national competition every year, and I was a science team leader and science club leader with 200 kids in it. And I just realized that I had this competitive nature, and teaching just, I just didn't get that immediate feedback enough. And, one day I wanted to go raise some money to take students to Barnes and Noble. And I started doing some cold calling to do that. And I called a realtor, and it was my first call. She gave me everything I was looking for. And I was like, man, I was good at that. And I thought it was just so rewarding. I felt like, ooh, that was fun. And so I knew that I needed to be selling something, that I just wasn't working in my, best strengths. And so I thought, well, what am I going to sell? And my fathers, both my biological father and stepfather, were broker owners my whole life. So I thought, well, I'll sell real estate, and I'll go get my real estate license, and I'll do it part-time, and I'll teach, and I'll just do this in the weekends and summers and dabble in it. And then I sat in class for, the first week with, lo and behold, the agent that gave me all the money for that Barnes and Noble event was my teacher in real estate school. So it was just sort of divine intervention. But I sat in class, and as she's describing her top producer in her office, I was thinking, that's it? I mean, I can do that. That's easy. I can do that. And I went home to my husband and said, what do you think about me quitting real estate or teaching and going full in? And he, at the time he was a CPA in Orlando, and, he had a good paying job. And so we just decided to let me go for it. And, I had success right out of the gate. I didn't know better. Nobody told me it was going to be hard. And, I'll never forget my broker. I went to work for her, by the way, the teacher, and said, well, I turned in my first file in the first 30 days, and they said, oh my gosh, they were all shocked. I'm like, isn't that what I'm supposed to be doing, is selling real estate? Like, why is this so shocking that I haven't sold, right? I don't know. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And then somebody said, well, wait until you start getting 3 or 4 a month. And I was like, oh, so somebody set a bar, I didn't know. I was just going to go sell as much as I could. So I went out and started selling 3 or 4 a month. And again, it wasn't highly celebrated at the time. Knowing what I know now, that was pretty amazing. I was, there were $50,000 deals. I was making a heck of a lot more money than I made in teaching, and it was very fulfilling. And I did that in Houston, Texas for a year and a half. And then my husband and I were blessed with triplets, and we realized, okay, well, we're not going to be able to be in Texas with these babies. We need to be closer to home. So we moved to Florida, and I started that over in real estate in Florida, but, not knowing anyone here, I just, it was like starting over as a rookie. And so I just tried to figure out how was I going to incorporate real estate into my lifestyle, because I needed to do real estate. I'm not the stay-at-home mom kind of girl. I have had a live-in nanny since the babies came home from the hospital, and she still lives with me to this day, and they're 14 now. So I needed to work. I need that chaos in my life. So I decided just to throw the kids in the stroller and go farm my neighborhood, and started farming 400 homes, with the kids, and using every excuse to get out of the house. Started bunco groups and play groups and whatever else I could start, so I had an excuse to leave the house with kids. And it took off into business faster than I was even anticipating, and grew that 400 home farm to well over 50% market share. We got as high as 80% at one point. Mm-hmm. And then I, through some Keller Williams coaching with the team leader, I was just out there doing transactions and taking care of clients. And I wasn't business trained, didn't know anything as far as running a business. I was just helping people. And so Michael Dudley, our team leader, coached me into hiring my first assistant, and duplicating our farming efforts in another 400 home community. And then I hired my first assistant. I was scared to do it, just like everyone is. George Philbeck, another mega agent out of our office, was in the same position at the time. We decided to hire an assistant together and share the assistant, but not put our teams together. That lasted about 4 months until he started using her time to, lick post stamps and postcards. And I was like, I need my own person. You need your own person. And so we hired a second assistant, had the one assistant train that one. And it was like, it was perfect. It was what it was supposed to be. And it worked out great. And from there, it just became breaking through ceilings and growing as a business person and getting on purpose, and realizing that, you have a choice. When you get to a ceiling, you can break through it and go on and take more and, bring people with you, or you could step back, get more on purpose about the business you accept or that you're willing to work, but you're still doing it all yourself. And I chose, I wasn't good at details and still not. So I didn't want to do anything myself. So I wanted to keep growing. And so it was just, it started a pattern from there, grow, get to a ceiling, find the person I'm missing, hire, grow through it, get to another ceiling, find a person that I was missing. And as of today, we just merged a team into our team today.
Really?
We are 35 people.
Wow, congratulations. Because, our flyer says 28, so congratulations.
Yep. As of today, we're 35.
So just to give the people on the call perspective, when did you move to Florida? What year was that?
2002.
Okay.
I went into real estate 2003, like early 2003 is when I came in. No, I'm sorry, I'm lying. 2002. I came in 2002.
Okay. And so you started with farming, and and so how long did it take you to start getting around the 50% market share?
I was able to achieve that in, probably 2 years, 2 to 3 years. At 3 years, I was at 80%, and that was right before the bank owns, and then I lost a little control over the bank owns and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I would say, the two farms combined, I've been farming them for over 12 years now. They got me to about $30 million, and that's all I did. I only worried about them, as far as marketing. We weren't doing any online lead gen at that time, and it was just servicing past clients and referrals. And that, we hit the ceiling at about 30 million.
So you guys know, I actually was in the markets. My business was in the market center with Jenny, and I remember like you were exiled if you were to get a listing in Jenny's farm. Like that was not okay. I remember that.
Well, most people would just choose not to try to come in and farm in there because we had so much market share, but we were always nice to people who came in, but it didn't happen very often.
It didn't happen. And then I started coaching, and people were like, "Oh, I want to go door knock that neighborhood." I'm like, "Good luck with that." uh,
Right.
that was fun. So you're at 35 people, and obviously this didn't happen overnight. You started with your first assistant 2003. I miss around then.
Or
So what is? Did you see any pitfalls? Our webinars on growing pains of a business. So when you hired your first assistant, once it was your first assistant, what are kind of some tips around making sure that it's the right hire and the person that you want to keep around?
Well, gotcha. You know what? I'm not completely in line with RS. So if you guys are all Recruit Select followers, I may be outside the box a little bit on this, but for our team, we've always built around the people, and so the first hire, thinking back, I got so lucky. Her name is Jen Murphy. She's infamous Jen Murphy. She's still she's a legacy. She's been with me. She was with me for 5 years. And she was amazing. So I got really lucky on my first hire, which took away the fear of hiring the next person. And I really just think that was kind of luck. George and I, we interviewed her, and but she was just very diligent, very detail oriented, which was the opposite of me. So looking back, I always tell my agents when they're hiring, because some of our agents have their own assistants, find what you're good at. It doesn't matter what the model says, but what are you good at? Where are your highest talents, and leverage your weaknesses and start there. And that first assistant is probably not going to be your future CEO. Wouldn't that be great? But the chances of that are probably pretty slim. Mm-hmm. Find someone that, like for me, I was a hot mess. Details and paperwork, escape me. I can sell anything, but following up with the details is the problem. So having somebody that was a super high C with a lot of S to buffer the C, because usually I don't get along too well with C's. And she was so happy to be behind the scenes, loved the details, created 3 ways and to Sunday to follow up on the details so she could never be wrong. That's who I needed. And she made me look good because she had my back on everything, and I was able to grow from there and hire the buyer's agent. But sometimes, like, I have agents that are not natural salespeople. They're actually really good at the details, but they really, people exhaust them. So, you may not want that high C assistant. You may want a high I personality that can buffer your C, but you really have to understand who you are and what your strengths are, and then what are you willing to hand off, and then, put that missing persons report together.
That's great.
So that's where I start there. And then, once we started, now, we have the benefit of having a large team. We have positions that we can create. If we've hired somebody for this position and, it's just not it's not right in their wheelhouse, we can move them over to another position and try them there, because, we typically, you find talent, but are they going to be talented in the position you need them for? That's a whole other question. So we built around people.
So when do you know when to hire? When should someone hire their first assistant?
When you are um, you'll know you're on the ceiling because you'll probably be in the corner sucking your thumb, right? I mean, there's only so many hours in a day, and you can't, you know, when you start to look at your phone like it's evil, and you can't take another call, and you know, you just you hate people because everybody needs something from you, and when you're really going to know is when people are calling on your listings and you're like, oh, sorry, that's pending. And in your mind, you're like, please don't ask me another question. Please don't ask me another question. I don't want to convert you. I can't convert you right now. And you're just like, please hang up. That's when you know you need help because you're leaving money on the table, obviously. And most agents, you know, they jump to the agent relief because it's commission based. They don't have to commit to the salary and that kind of thing. But that's, you know, not what you'd want to do. You want to hire the admin help to relieve you of the lower dollar admin work, like, you know, the checklisty stuff first to keep you in your 20%. And then when you just can't work another client and you have that admin support in place, that's when you know you need your buyer's agent or listing agent or wherever your strengths may lie.
Do you feel, because Millionaire Real Estate Agent, I know you talk about how you don't necessarily follow the recruit select, and then we've got Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and it says that we should obviously, if we're running the team, we should be listings heavy, we should be listings focused. What if you enjoy and want to be on the buyer side? What would you say to that?
Then hire a listing agent. You know, it doesn't have to be hard and fast. We follow the Red Book very, very closely, but you know, we didn't necessarily get there. You know, there's no perfect path to that. But again, if you're just, you know, I really do believe that there is a difference between a good buyer's agent and a good listing agent. Very different profiles, very different strengths and comfort levels. Listings are extremely consultative, where buyers, you know, it's a little bit more HGTV, more emotional, you know, more servant heart type work. And, you know, you can cross over and do both, but it's uncomfortable when you're, you know, really good at listings. You're not going to be comfortable doing the fluffy buy side for long, or if you are really comfortable with the buyers and you have to go over and tell sellers bad news, it's not comfortable. Mm-hmm. So I would just say stay and know your talents and then leverage those. I do believe in the Red Book, though, where they say, you know, the listing leads leverage. Listings are the backbone to the business. And if you're really truly building a big real estate business, you do need to focus on listings. Doesn't mean you have to be the listing agent, but you do have to, if you're going to put any money towards marketing or any efforts towards, you know, lead cultivation, it should be towards listings because buyers follow the inventory.
Yeah. So since I'm going to take the perspective of what I've watched you do, I know that you mentioned George, so I kind of tend to call you more of the tortoise and him the hare, because I know that George kind of blew up very quickly with foreclosure.
Yeah.
And you've always been steady and really followed the book, and you went slow and then suddenly you just blew up. Your team just expanded. So
yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that and what you think the reason for that was?
Yeah, it was very on purpose. My husband, you know, I got to that 30 million mark off of, you know, just building long-term relationships with my clients, but also my team members. So, you know, my team members have been with me for years and years. My first buyer's agent is still with me today. You know, however many years later, 13, 14, I don't even know what we're at right now. And I've got my second buyer's agent ever, Holly Galarza, just rejoined my team today. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, and, that's who it was. Okay.
Yeah, the Galarzas and the Weimers came back together. Put the band back together. And then, you know, my fourth and fifth buyer's agents are still with me. As a matter of fact, Cindy and Christine, and they're all thriving with their own teams within the team. So, but because I built those strong relationships with them, I was able to continue to grow because I wasn't constantly having to go search for talent and train and recreate the wheel. You know, they learn from me. They have the same mindset. They have the same approach to clients. We have built this brand with the customers first, and anybody that works on the team has to have that same mindset. So anyway, I got to 30 million, just on relationships and just guts and glory and as much as I knew about business. Then my husband joined me. He was a partner at a CPA firm, and at 30 million and team members, I don't remember 6, 7, 8 at that time, he was able to come over and have a CEO position on the team. And he's much more corporate minded. And I remember him saying to me, keep in mind, this is also at the same time that Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com are coming on strong. Mm-hmm. And, we're all trying to fight it. And he said, I don't understand, Jenny. Are you telling me that if I write a check for $2,000, you can't sell one house off of that a month? And I was like, well, of course I can. He's like, well, then that doesn't make sense that we're not doing that. And, at the time, it was super high return. We were getting 10, 13 to 1, not too long ago, a few years back. Mm-hmm. And so he started writing checks. And I always said, he started writing checks and our business blew up. We created more leads. Leads became the problem. And because we had so many leads coming in, we needed more people to service the leads. And then because we needed more agents to service the leads, we needed more admin to support the agents. And that's the vicious cycle we're in now, making leads our problem. And I do believe very strongly when you build a team that you have to take the position as a rainmaker, and that if I'm ever going to put somebody on my team, I am committing to their family that I am creating a business big enough that they can have a business, make money, and have room to grow. And I don't take that lightly. So, but Mike invested his way from 30 million to 100 million. In watching his money investing like in Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com or Facebook or into websites, wherever we put it, we watch it very closely and make sure we have a good return on it.
Now that's awesome. So let's say we have your buyer's agents, because you're investing the money and you wholeheartedly believe that that's your position as the leader. Now what's on the other side? What's the expectation for your team members then?
Well, I think you're going to find that our team members are extremely spoiled.
I happen to used to live with one.
Yes, you did. So they're very, very spoiled. But you know what? I am happy to spoil them because I don't want turnover, and I don't want robots, and they're valuable to me. So we, on our end, we do provide quite a bit of leverage. They get transaction coordination as part of being on the team. We have a full marketing department that serves up their database on a platter and tells them, here are your 20 people to invite to this event. Here are 20 pop buys that you are going to take to these houses. Here's housewarming gifts to grab and go. I mean, it's like served up on a platter. Our expectations with our buyer's agents are simple. They each have their own goals. As long as they fit within our goals, they don't have to be the same. They all have different big whys, and that's fine. If they're good team members, they have good team culture, a servant heart with our buyers. I'm fine if they're doing 2 a month. If they're doing less than 2 a month, they're going to be uncomfortable and won't want to be on the team because our team is full of achievers. Mm-hmm. And so if anybody does leave, it's because they just feel like they can't do their part. And but so if I have fired producers because they're just not good fits for the team. I can get anybody to sell our houses. I got to protect our brand.
Yeah.
So their job is to take our clients, put them in a car, write offers, bring them back to the office, and then rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm. So, for new agents, how important is having a vision around what you want to build? Did you know you wanted to be a mega producer?
No, and I still have trouble answering that today where, people say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But, my husband and I are both this way. We are always wanting to be the best we can be. And I've always trusted, I never have tried to push this business faster than it was ready to go. So I love that tortoise and the hare analogy because I had several opportunities to merge with George.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I'm like, I'm not wanting to move that fast. I'm not willing to risk it all to move that fast. I did set the intention for this business way back in 2003 that I wanted it to serve my family, and I would, hopefully by the time the kids were in kindergarten, I would be able to be in business and earning a decent living from it. Of course, it took off a little faster than I was expecting. And then I've just allowed the business to grow organically and made decisions along the way to follow the business. And now today, I have to wake up every day. It's not about, can I pay my bills off of this business? Do I trust this business? I have to wake up every day and figure out how am I going to make this big enough so that my agents don't feel like they have to leave to grow. And so we're growing organically again just by encouraging our agents to grow now. And so where it takes us, I don't know. Sitting on the stage, being number one, it's fun to get the attention, but it doesn't pay the bills. Like, I want a business that we can be proud of, that people enjoy working in, and, that everybody is feeling fulfilled. I know it sounds kind of utopia-ish, but it is what it is.
Well, I've always appreciated your humbleness and the fact that, pretty much most of the top 50, 100 agents are really humble and really open, and they're the ones usually walking around the office helping versus so much having a closed door, closed mindset approach. So it seems to be a pattern in a mega agent world.
Sure.
To have that approach. So I remember, and what it sounds like is really every day you go in with purpose and you're focused on how do I get more business? How do I create leads for my team? So I remember when you and I were at dinner at Outback when I was a brand new agent, and you said every time that you're not with a client, you should be in an open house. And so I started doing that, and that's how I created my business starting off. So if it were a new agent right now, would you tell them the same thing, or is there a different item that we should be focused on?
No, absolutely. And it's getting harder and harder and harder to get into the business as a new agent because of the ecosystem of, the digital ecosystem. So Zillow, Truly, or Realtor.com, everything is so transparent nowadays. You can't hide from being a new agent, right? So that I wouldn't buy leads if I was a new agent. So I just want to make sure that's clear because I just told you that we buy leads.
Yep.
We buy leads because we have the top profile and they pay. But a brand new agent, it's so hard to compete in that ecosystem. You really have to go get a business, a database under your belt, build up testimonials and build up that profile before you ever start to play in that arena. But the single agent, the business that is left is the repeat referral, friends, and working with people that find you as a real estate agent. Well, how are they going to find you as a real estate agent? You have to attach yourself to inventory, because they're not looking for an agent. They're looking for a house, and then they find you, and then they realize they need an agent. So if you don't have your own inventory, attach yourself to other agents' inventory by doing open houses every chance you get. Putting ads out on Craigslist or whatever with the permission from an agent to do so. So but you've got to attach yourself to inventory. Walking around with a bunch of business cards telling people you're a realtor isn't where you're going to find the low-hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm. So I know you did farming, so that is coming back, and I remember Gary Keller saying that on stage this year at Family Reunion, that it's back to the farming days. And what about expireds and for sale by owners? What are your thoughts on those two listing opportunities?
I think that it's a valid piece of business. I have never focused on it. You can probably tell by, hearing from me that I am far from being a good prospector. So, I can't give them hugs through the phone, so that's not going to work. So I can't, not for me. So it's, I just have never done it, but people build businesses around it all day long. And, if you're a high D personality, you don't mind rejection and you can push through it, then that would maybe a great direction. There's guys that I'm friends with in the business that they look over and they hear what I'm doing, like, oh my gosh, I can't go hug people. Please, I'm going to build this prospecting business, and it works for them, so you just have to really, again, understand your strengths and build around that.
That's awesome. So I know it's your time is precious, so it is 4:10. I want to open it up for questions. I'm not going to unmute everybody because that can be chaos. So there is a chat feature on the screen. If you want to type any questions for Jenny, we'll open it up now for that. Some people might have called, so they could be not having chat feature. Sounds like you answered it all, Jenny.
Well, good.
Okay, well, since there's no questions, what is one or two things you'd like to leave for them? Valuable tips.
I would say, and it's what we tell our agents every day, dig into your database, know your database inside and out, label them, and put marketing plans together that will, serve each segment of your database. So we have ours broken up as VIPs. Those are our top 2-3 people that are, are really big bird dogs. We have our next group we call our forever clients. Those are people who give us referrals or are very likely to give us referrals and champion our business. And then we have what we call our network. And we have a marketing program for each one of those that is set at the beginning of the year, and we don't touch it. We do 4 client events a year that we invite our clients to and treat them, and it gives us an opportunity to give back to them and stay in front of them. But it's really, really important that you're bringing value to your database. I don't mean calling them to, hey, what's going on? I'm calling you again. I mean, I would never be able to make that call in my life. But if I call in with an invite or a reminder or, hey, I need your help with, whatever it is, you can think of that in January, put it on a calendar, and then make sure it's implemented. And then really work hard on getting testimonials. And if you're going to work on getting testimonials, don't do it in like a place that you can control. Like, you don't want to do a survey monkey and ask for a testimonial because it doesn't count anywhere. Have them either go into like Zillow or Realtor.com or Yelp or Angie's List, where they have to have a unique IP address, they're verified, and then once you get that testimonial, copy and paste it wherever you want to put it. If you want to put it into your blog or your website, but control the data, but try to get it in the sites that are harder to get, that, you know, and build that profile. Zillow's a great place to start because when people Google you and they go to Zillow, you'll look like you've been in business. So you have testimonials, and you have to put your past sales in there, upload all your past sales for the last 10 years in Zillow, so you look valid. And once you start getting those testimonials, you'll see that it's a game changer in your business. In leads turn from, you know, I want to see this house at 123 Main Street to, will you please work with me? We're on our way from North Carolina. We've read your testimonials. We want you. How can you help us? And it really is a game changer for your business when you can have your clients speak for you.
Awesome.
On that database, you know, and you know, have your database speak.
We actually have 4 quick questions. I'm sure you can answer these pretty simply. So, how many transactions are you doing in a year? And what's your sales volume?
Last year, I think we were right around 430 or something like that transactions. This year, we're tracking over, I want to say 550. That's a good question for my husband. We were at 95 million last year, somewhere in there. And this morning, my husband said that we're tracking for 120 this year.
Awesome. Congrats. And is your team in one location? Is a question.
Yeah, we're still upstairs at the Waterford Lakes office. We sit on each other's laps, and we're thinking about going to law, but yes, we're still here.
They asked how many buyer's agents, how many listing agents?
I was the listing agent up until 2 years ago because that is the most profitable piece of the business, and it was hard to give up. I wanted to go be a cheer coach for my daughter and assistant volunteer cheer coach at that. So I made the move to hire a listing agent. And, you know, it was tough because at first you feel like you're writing a check for 30% out of your income. But once you remove yourself, you know, once I removed myself, I was able to go to a whole nother level and see the business from a wider perspective and was able to make that up in a heartbeat. But so I've been out 2 years. We have one backup listing agent. So we have one full-time, one backup. Our full-time listing agent has his own assistant. And then as of today, I just brought on Tony Galarza, who's also a listing agent. So I guess in theory, we have 3 listing agents and we have 14 buyer's agents.
Wow.
But, you know, keep in mind, that's not from our numbers last year. That's just, we just piled on like 6 buyer's agents in the last month and a half.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last question is, with 35 people, how do you know you have the right balance of roles?
You just know, because you're in pain if you don't. So, you know, you have this, you have disgruntled team members if you're not in balance.
Mm-hmm.
You have disgruntled clients if you're not in balance, and you'll know, or you get the job back. Every time I get a job back, I know I'm not in balance.
Yep.
So today we've had some, mistakes on the listing side in the last week and a half. And it's not because our listing agent is weak or our listing coordinator is weak. It's on me because we allowed it to get too big too fast over the summer, and we're paying for it now. So we're in pain today, and as of today, I know that I'm not in balance. So that's why we hired.
Awesome. Well, Jenny, thank you for your time. It's been so much fun, and I'll be in Orlando probably in a month or 2, so I'll always stop by the office and say hello.
Oh, please do.
Thank you again for jumping on, and exciting news. Congratulations, and see you at Mega Camp, if not sooner.
Yeah, sorry I was late. I'm so sorry. But thanks for having me.
Thank you. Everyone have a great rest of your day.
All right, take care, guys.